happens within the confines of a school during the school
So
day, and I think it's for that reason.
I'll offer this, and by no means do I intend to parallel or make overwhelmingly congruent the experience on this earth and in this country as a black person. I am obviously and without question a black woman. And there in the not so distant past was an issue of school integration, and I'm sure you've heard this before, but it's of particular interest to me. I am what they would call on this first page a straight ally. Some may even call me a hag. And I thank you. It is not the argument over who's more oppressive about the personhood of it. And I'm sure you're aware that there were clubs and organizations about just civil rights equality.
Yep.
And where there were posters necessary. In fact, we have a month which we are currently in where around schools we post the accomplishments, the personhood and worthiness of recognition of people just based off and largely because the color of our skin.
Yes.
We're still talking about the first black this, that, and the other, even today in 2020. And in fact, the only two black committee chairs in this building are sitting next to each other right now.
Yep.
My fear is that when we get to this point of, as a parent, it is mine, I'm okay with the sexuality part, the instruction part, when we're talking about the mechanics of what sex and sexuality are, I can't agree with you more. There have been times that I've taken my own underprepared child out of those classes because I, as a parent, understood that for the mechanics part, particularly of sex, that he was just ill-prepared.
Right.
However, I would contend this isn't that. From a scientific base, like just the share of information. So my concern is that, whereas I agree with you on the course material, and of course as an attorney you do know that there's a difference between intention and execution.
Mm-hmm.
That we are indeed treading on dangerous ground when we expand in such a way the definition of what instruction is, because if it's applicable to this, who's to say, well, I don't necessarily like geometry, can my child opt out of it? And as silly and pedantic as these arguments can get, it is a thing. If this, then that. And so I would just urge caution. I'm glad that the sponsor of the bill and parents such as yourself are open to the dynamics of the conversation. But again, I would like to stress that at various points in time in history, what has been deemed socially acceptable has been questionable, and it had to be challenged. And the only way that that progress had taken place is because we put it there.
Yeah.
And I take pride in being that person myself when sometimes they say, hey, little black girl, be quiet. And I'm like, I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere, I guess, to make it rhyme. But I do appreciate you as a parent and wanting to be involved. I don't take offense to your wanting to be involved in your child or children's education and the education of your community, but I do insist that we're not just talking about sex and sexuality, but the actual worthiness and personhood of a group of individuals.
Right, and I appreciate that, Representative, and